Hey everybody, happy Saturday. It is the weekend. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new here. And if you are new here, you probably don't know that I use the Rebel deck on the weekends. It is absolutely like the best. It's just sarcastic and I love it. So we're gonna use that today to get our topic. And what have we got for today? Oh, damn. Straight in line with this week. It's not everyone else's fault. It's yours. You are a grown ass adult. Stop blaming others for your shit. Like, very specific for the topics of this week. And it's true. It's so true. Because once we are adults, it's our fault now. It just is. Regardless of how it became a thing, it is now our responsibility. If you were wounded as a child, that was not your fault. No one says it's your fault. However, the fallout is now your responsibility. We cannot go through the world acting like complete jerks to everyone when we're 40 years old because when we were 7, something happened. Because there's like 33 years where you could have done something about it. The beauty of taking responsibility, the real true beauty of taking responsibility is instead of being a victim of what happened to you when you were 7 and now you're 40 and it's still dictating your life and you're in the victim mentality and well it wouldn't have happened except that so and so and this only happens because they do this and that and it's all out there, all my problems are because of everything out. No, the one common denominator in all of your problems is what? You. Not just pointing fingers, because in all of my problems it's me. But by actually acknowledging and claiming that, guess what happens? No longer am I at the mercy of everything out there dictating my life because it's not about out there, it's about me. When I say I made bad choices, I caused that, I chose that, I did that, that was because of me. Now, it could be that was because of me because I lost my job and I didn't have other options, whatever. However, if I just agree that, yeah, I did that, that was dumb, it's my fault, that means that I can choose something different. AKA, I take my power back. I'm no longer at the mercy of the things around me. I am now in my power with the option to make different choices going forward to create different outcomes. And generally, like we talked about this week, all that entails is learning new information. How did I screw that up? Like legitimately, literally, how did I screw that up? Okay, so I didn't understand the finances behind it. I made a poor choice. That's what led up to this, but I agreed to that. So what I need to do now is increase my knowledge of finances. The more I know about finances, the more empowered I am to make good decisions. Relationships. Okay, so I keep getting involved in this type of relationship. I don't know why I think it's going to turn out different every time because I'm choosing the same thing with a different face, a different name, a different whatever, but it's the same dynamics. Why am I doing that? If I take responsibility, I chose the wrong person for me because I don't know me. So, what I need to do now is figure out what's driving this behavior that's attracting me to Mr. or Mrs. Red Flag, like a red flag with legs and eyeballs. And I'm like, ooh, okay, that is wounding. Something in you is wanting to play this out again. to change the dynamics. And each time you think they're different. No, no. What's great though, when you take responsibility and you start working on your inner wounding, you are not going to be the person who looks at Mr. or Mrs. Red Flag and goes, ooh. You'll look at them and have to fight back the urge to vomit because the healed version of you will have zero attraction to them. Not to mention, odds are, because the energy that you project as a healed person, as opposed to the wounded version of you, you won't draw them in. Now, they may try, because when you are a confident, embodied person, you do attract people who admire that, even though they know that like they don't have that, but that's what attracts them. But you on the receiving end of it will be like, no, off with you, flag boy, flag girl. We are not doing that again, because now you see it for what it is, because you're not looking through your wounding. And it's the same with the finances, with employment, with whatever your challenge is. And that's what we talked about this week. The number one most important, most powerful thing you can do is go, that's my fault. That's my fault. Because as long as it's my fault and I took the actions that caused the outcome, and it may be, okay, let's say you had a partner that cheated on you. Yeah, that specifically is not your fault. However, you chose that person as a partner. So you can go back to that and be like, it's my fault that that's what I thought was suitable for me. That I chose that thinking that that was okay for me. Obviously, when someone is unfaithful to you, that doesn't speak about you, it speaks about them. And that's where we lose our perspective in these things. It's like most often when you're mistreated by other people, that's a them problem, not a you problem. But when you're young and you don't understand, and we personalize it. We take it on like that's a me problem. I wonder if I could have been different or better or whatever, right? And we start comparing and questioning, and it's not a you problem. However, if you identify that you have chosen a poor partner, that's a you problem. Now you can be like, okay, that was my fault. Why did I choose this person? What attracted me to them? What was it about them that I wanted to be around them? What drew me to them? What part of me thought that was good? And that's where we start getting into what wound did we make that decision from? What part of me that's bleeding inside went, oh yeah, that, that. Because again, those moments and those choices are just drawing our attention to what's going on inside of us so that we can become aware of what we need to heal. And when we can accept responsibility for the choices that we've made, regardless of the outcome, finding the reasoning behind it and saying that was my fault. Not to guilt ourselves, not to shame ourselves, but to get back in our power to realize that, well, if I had the power to make that choice, I have the power to make a different choice. I am now taking back control. I'm not at the mercy of everything around me and my inability to not react to it. I'm going to learn how to respond to it. I'm going to find out what's driving my behavior, because I am the problem. It's not everyone else's fault. It's yours. It's mine. You know, we are grown ass adults, and blaming other people for your shit just gives your power to them. That makes you powerless. You're back to being that child that had no defenses, that was the mercy of the people around them, and you're not that person anymore. You now have the ability to set boundaries, to make different choices, to choose who is in your life and who is not, where you go and where you don't go, whatever makes you happy and doesn't make you happy. And it doesn't have to look anything like what the people around you's expectations might be. What do you want? What's important to you? What are your standards? Do you even understand what I'm saying? So many of us came out of childhood so retarded with all the emotions and everything else that we don't even standards. What do you mean standards? Boundaries. What will you accept? What will you not accept? And that's a fluid concept, because you may not have boundaries in place for some things until they happen and you want to add that. Okay, that's definitely a no. That's a no. And sometimes it takes a few different experiences that are slightly, they're the same but not really. So you think it's not really the same thing. And so you're going to have to expand that boundary. Like, I am no longer extending financial support to anyone, period. And you may go a little bit on that one, depending on the situation, but make it a hard rock thing like, I will not loan money to my friends because it could damage the friendship. I will not try to save people from their problems because I'm not helping them. I'm enabling them and I'm stealing their lesson. That will keep you from getting screwed over by trying to be the savior for people when you really just still need to save yourself. So these are all things that apply to taking responsibility. We make better choices when we get out of the victim mentality. We become empowered in the fact that I can make different choices. I can change the outcomes. I have the ability to completely redefine who I am, what I tolerate. It's my choice. And bam, back in your power. So that's actually a very powerful way to wrap up our topics from this week, is that quit blaming other people. In some way, shape, or form, consciously or unconsciously, whatever happened, you allowed. Not because you meant to, not because you understood that you were doing it, but when you can take responsibility for it, now you can change it. You're no longer a victim. And you can look around you right now and be like, you know what? There's a lot of this shit that I am not going to tolerate anymore. Again, you don't have to napalm. That's a little extreme. But start weeding things out. Start deciding who really deserves to be in your life and who doesn't. Look around you at the people you hang out with. Is that what you want to be? Is that what you aspire to become? Do the people around you support the vision that you have for your future and who you are becoming? Because if not, you need to go people shopping, because we are so in tune with the people around us that if we don't have people that inspire us to be better, we won't. Unless you're just a very driven individual, if you hang out with a group of friends that's really good about not wanting to change, grow, uh, endure any kind of discomfort, it's not a great group for growth. If you start to grow, they'll try to pull you back because your growth highlights their lack thereof, and you'll get into this perpetuating cycle of, you start to grow and then, well, why bother? Because everyone around you is like, what are you doing? Come back. Come back to the soft side. Do the hard thing. Start doing the hard things. We talked about this on Wednesday. Listening to the voice, this soft, quiet voice that's telling you to do the hard thing because that part of you knows this is going to bring you closer to what you truly desire. The loud part that's yelling about eat a donut, that's the one we've got to get that one tamed down. We need to empower the voice telling us, I don't care how you feel. Get up and do it. Now, balance, balance in all things. Obviously, if you're exhausted, you've got pneumonia, whatever, you should not go jogging that day. But if it's just because you feel a little bit draggy, you know that if you go jogging, you're going to get the endorphins, you're going to feel better, you're going to be proud of yourself that you actually did it when you didn't feel like it. Push yourself enough to grow. Don't push yourself into the ground or burnout. But again, that's what we learn in the growth process is our boundaries, our limitations, how we can overcome them to a degree, and when we need to pull back and stop being mean to ourselves. So today, I hope that you can find a situation in your life that you've been feeling victimized by and find a way to take responsibility for it so that you can be empowered to change it. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this helps. Again, pardon my post work, whatever I got going on here with writing on my hands. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you soon.